Is it just like the coolest house of all time?
For me, it's the coolest house of all time.
The Medina home stretches over 66,000 square feet. The home also comes with 6 different kitchens. His home comes tricked out with a 60-foot pool. A 6-foot wide limestone fireplace dominates one wall. The huge library is actually his favorite room in the house. The library has a dome roof and walls covered in special edition novels and manuscripts, including the Codex Leicester, a 16th century Leonardo da Vinci manuscript. The library also has its secrets, like all good libraries do. There are secret bookcases, including one that reveals a hidden bar. On the ceiling, a quote from The Great Gatsby reads, "He had come a long way to this blue lawn, and his dreams must have seemed so close that he could hardly fail to grasp it." There are several different garages at different points around his estate, but the most interesting one is probably the underground cave he had made out of concrete and stainless steel. There is also a stream and wetland estuary on the ground that was created to solve any problems with runoff from the property's large walls. There was also an earth-sheltered house, so let's see what he's keeping in any one of his many garages. Bill Gates' sports car collection is worth an estimated $650,000. Luckily, according to CNBC, Bill owns his very own private island in 6 years and $66 million to build his Medina, Washington estate that he calls Xanadu 2.0. Xanadu 2.0 is
world's richest man. Bill Gates built his dream house, Xanadu 2.0. Xanadu 2.0 is the name of the house, and it was built in 66,000 square feet area. Let's have a look at Xanadu 2.0. Xanadu 2.0, the 60 feet swimming pool is the special attraction to this house. Surroundings of this house Xanadu 2.0 will but a unique cave-like garage was built underground of Xanadu 2.0. See this beautiful Xanadu 2.0 by spending thousands of millions of dollars every year.
The mega mansion's name was inspired by one of Gates' favorite movies, Citizen Kane.
Of a man who valued wealth and power over everything else and
Legendary was the Xanadu, where Kubla Khan decreed his stately pleasure dome. Today, almost as legendary is Florida's Xanadu, world's largest private pleasure ground. Here, on the deserts of the Gulf Coast, a private mountain was commissioned and successfully built. 100,000 trees, 20,000 tons of marble are the ingredients of Xanadu's mountain. Contents of Xanadu's palace. Paintings, pictures, statues, the very stones of many another palace. A collection of everything, so big it can never be catalogued or appraised. Enough for 10 museums, the loot of the world. Xanadu's livestock, the fowl of the air, the fish of the sea, the beast of the field and jungle, 2 of each, the biggest private zoo since Noah. Like the pharaohs, Xanadu's landlord leaves many stones to mark his grave. Since the pyramids, Xanadu is the costliest monument a man has built to himself. Here in Xanadu last week, Xanadu's landlord was a potent figure of our century, America's Kubla Khan. Kane's empire in its glory held dominion over 37 newspapers, 2 syndicates, a radio network, an empire upon an empire. The first of grocery stores, paper mills, apartment buildings, factories, forests, ocean liners, an empire through which for 50 years flowed in an unending stream the wealth of the earth's 3rd richest gold mine.
Mr. Charles Foster Kane, in every essence of his social beliefs and by the dangerous manner in which he has persistently attacked the American traditions of private property, initiative, and opportunity for advancement, is, in fact, nothing more or less than a communist.
That same month in Union Square,
Till the words Charles Foster Kane are a menace to every working man in this land. He is today what he has always been, and always will be, a fascist.
Xanadu has taken many forms in modern culture, but what kind of place was the original mythical city? In the Western world, Xanadu conjures up all kinds of fantastical images, from the palatial mansion in the classic film Citizen Kane, or maybe even a continent on Saturn's largest moon, Titan. The real Xanadu, the legendary capital of Mongol ruler Kublai Khan and grandson of the incomparable conqueror Genghis Khan, was located north of the Great Wall in Inner Mongolia in northeast China. From the mid to late 13th century, during the rule of Khan, Xanadu was the capital of the Mongol Empire. The city had 12 to 18-foot earthen outer walls with 6 towers and 10 to 16-foot inner walls made of brick with 4 towers. These structures separated the inner city from the outer, where the majority of the population lived. Khan's elaborate raised palace was built in the inner city, where he and his entourage resided.
In the year 1162, between modern-day Mongolia and Siberia, a ruthless leader and great conqueror was born. The King of Kings, a brutal barbarian and the founder of the largest connected land empire the world has ever seen. His name? Genghis Khan. Genghis, together with his sons and grandsons, went to war on an immense scale, and in only 25 years, the Mongol army conquered more territory than the Romans had done in 400. By the time of his death in 1227, the Mongol Empire stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the Caspian Sea, encompassing around 10 million square miles. The empire was vast, making Genghis Khan one of the most successful military commanders the world has ever known. Born in 1162 to the name Temujin, he was the son of a local chieftain and was said to have been born clutching a blood clot, a sign from heaven that he would become a great warrior. Temujin killed his half-brother, who had been accused of hoarding food while others starved. This allowed Temujin to gain control over the tribe, and soon he was leading it alongside his lifelong friend and blood brother, Jamuka. 10 years later, Temujin understood that his small tribe in the open grasslands of the steppes was weak and exposed, so he sought to bolster his numbers by marrying into a local tribe. He soon found Borte, his first wife. Not only did Temujin gain a loving companion, but more importantly, the fighting force that came with her. The powerful Merkit tribe came and raided his camp, killing many and stealing Borte away. Temujin and Jamuka managed to escape and made their way to the local Khan, who had fought aside Temujin's father, begging for help. The Khan accepted their plea, and soon Temujin was at the head of a massive fighting force. Shortly after, he took swift and decisive action against those who wronged him. Heading to the Merkit camp in the mountains of northern Mongolia, he slaughtered the offending tribe, taking his wife back in the process. As time progressed, the tribe became divided. This led to a rift in the tribe and an eventual split, with Jamuka now leading a clan of his own. It would be 2 years until the pair would meet again, in which Jamuka's men slaughtered Temujin's unprepared and outnumbered tribe. The generals Jamuka captured also faced a gruesome death, being boiled alive. When Temujin found out what had happened, he was furious, and it said from that day on he would seek revenge and pledge never to be defeated again. And when close enough, Temujin's forces unleashed a barrage of arrows and used cavalry charges to demolish Jamuka's army. He then feigned retreat with some of his squadrons, luring his foe into a planned ambush where they were promptly slaughtered. This led to a decisive victory over his former blood brother, who fled from the battle. To honour this great achievement, Temujin was granted the title of Genghis Khan in 1206, meaning universal leader. Heading into China, the Khan's army plundered, raped and killed any who stood in their way, until they reached the capital of the north, Zhongdu. The city was one of the most advanced in the world. To get into the city, Genghis Khan used captured Chinese engineers to design siege equipment, and camped outside the walls, cutting off vital supply lines. This lasted for so long that the Chinese began to starve to death by the thousands, many turning to cannibalism. When the Mongols went to take the city, they met reduced resistance and were able to take it with relative ease. This led to a month of plunder and destruction that enhanced Genghis Khan's reputation as a bloodthirsty murderer and brought the Mongol Empire to new heights. His army continued west after the conquest, managing to reach Eastern Europe, showing little sign of slowing down. Genghis Khan died in 1227 during his final conquest into China. His last words were, "I have conquered for you a large empire, but my life was too short to take the whole world. That I leave to you." He appointed his son Ogadai as his successor, in the hopes that he could complete the divine mission. Genghis Khan was buried in an unmarked grave, with all those who arranged the funeral apparently executed in order to keep the location a secret.
I don't think any word can explain a man's life.
Throw that junk.
Thanks for watching this video. For more video updates, please subscribe to our channel.